I lived and worked in the Catalan region of Spain and visited Barcelona numerous times. I've been blessed by the fact that I have watched Barca play many times and have seen some amazing football and genuine superstars like Messi, Xavi, Iniesta and Ronaldinho. Other famous players I remember include Pep Guardiola, Jose Maria Bakero and Miguel Angel Nadal, another of Rafa Nadal's famous uncles. I love watching Ronald Koeman, Michael Laudrup, Romario and Stoichkov play. From small acorns grow big trees, and who would have thought that one of the biggest sports teams in the world was formed because one man posted an ad in a newspaper? Well, that's exactly what happened. Football Club Barcelona was formed on the 22nd of October 1899. It all started when Hans Gamper placed an advertisement in the local newspaper Los Deportes, expressing his wish to form a football club. It enticed 11 players to a meeting at the Gimnasio Soler on November the 29th. Despite FC Barcelona's close association with the Catalan identity, Hans Gamper was actually a Swiss entrepreneur who had experience of starting football clubs, having founded FC Zurich in his home country 3 years earlier. He later went on to become club president and even changed his name to Johan Gamper in order to make it easier for the locals to pronounce it. The club's first president was Walter Wild, a Swiss engineer and football player known in Catalan as Gulteri Wild. He was involved in the club from the first meeting and together with Hans Gamper played a crucial role in the formation of the club. Wild's presidency lasted for the first 513 days of the club's existence. Eventually, he had to resign because of his work commitments, but he was actively involved in laying the foundation of what would become the club we know today. FC Barcelona became one of the founding members of La Liga, the Spanish First League, and is one of 3 clubs, the others being Real Madrid and Athletic Bilbao, that have never been relegated. FC Barcelona got their famous maroon and blue colours from a rugby team based at a school in the northwest of England. Arthur and Ernest Whitty were both students at Merchant Taylor's School in Crosby, Liverpool. Their rugby team played in maroon and blue. The Whittys were also heavily involved in the early years at Barcelona FC. Arthur actually captained the side alongside founder Johan Gamper, before going on to serve as the club's president. Barca's famous logo over time hasn't really changed. But there has been one logo that has been distinctively different, and that was the first logo. This logo was used from 1899 to 1910. The cross of St. George and the Catalan flag were depicted on it, but there were also branches of palm and laurel plants surrounding the images in the middle of the crest. In the top part of the logo, it's where we see the biggest difference to the one from today. There was a crown and even a bat. It's known that the crown and the bat were the symbols of the Barcelona Counts. The branches symbolised peace. So when it was decided in 1910 that a new crest, a new logo was needed, there was a competition for the best logo idea, and the competition was won by one of the Barcelona football players. You may well have wondered why there is a red and white St. George's cross on the logo of FC Barcelona. Well, it's nothing to do with the Englishmen, Ernest and Arthur Whitty I just mentioned. It's because St. George is both the patron saint of England and Catalonia, and also several other places. Even though, actually, George himself was a Greek soldier in the Roman army. It's all very complicated. What I do know is that St. George killed the dragon in medieval Mont Blanc, which is in Tarragona, about 100 kilometres south of Barcelona. I know this because I used to have a hotel there. FC Barcelona often has its name shortened to simply Barça. One of its nicknames is Blaugrana. It refers to the team's jersey's stripes. In Catalan, blau means blue and grana translates to the deep red, so in English it would translate to the blue and reds. Now, if you've been in Barcelona, when they win, something crazy happens, and it's called Barca Mania, and this is where everybody gets in their car, goes out into the street and honks their horn and sits on the roof and goes crazy. Barca Mania. The club's first stadium was called Camp de la Industria and had a capacity of just 8,000. By 1922, the club had increased its membership to over 20,000 members. Because of this, they were able to build a new stadium called Camp de Les Corts. This stadium had a capacity of 30,000, which would be expanded to 60,000 in the 1940s. FC Barcelona is one of the few clubs in the world to be owned by the club members themselves. Together, these members form the governing body of the club, and there are currently an estimated 140,000 members, or socis, as they are called in Catalan. It currently costs €185 a year to be a soci at FC Barcelona. During the first 2 decades of its existence, the club's identity evolved into something much more than just a football club. This was emphasised when the club changed its official language from Castellano or Spanish to Catalan, and becoming a member of the club was more than just supporting the club. It became a political statement as well. During the 1936 Spanish Civil War, professional players of Barcelona FC fought in the war, and the then president, Josep Nunes, was actually murdered in the Civil War. Every football club in the world has at least one game they look forward to more than any other. In the case of FC Barcelona, it's against their biggest rival, and that is Real Madrid. This match is considered to be one of the biggest games in club football, not only in Spain, but also around the world. If you happen to walk into any town or city in Spain during El Clasico, you will hardly see any people on the street. It's that big a deal. FC Barcelona and Real Madrid are fierce competitors. The rivalry is said to come from Franco's dictatorship. FC Barcelona represented an opposition to Franquismo, which was General Franco's dictatorial rule over Spain, while Real Madrid was a symbol of nationalism and was supported by the regime and the dictator himself. The first El Clasico was on the 13th of May 1902, and Barcelona won it 3-1. Real Madrid, however, were only formed on the 6th of March of the same year, which is about 2 months before. Barcelona had been a competitive team by then for about 2.5 years. In 1943, Barca won the first leg of the semi-final 3-0 against Real Madrid in the Copa del Generalismo, which is now known as the Copa del Rey. But in the second leg, Real beat Barca 11-1. There are significant reports of threats and intimidation by the police and General Franco against the Barca players. Under Franquismo, the Catalan language and its symbols were banned. In 1939, FC Barcelona was forced to change its name to Club de Football Barcelona, and the Catalan flag was removed from the shield of the club. The stadium, however, remained one of the rare places where Catalan could be spoken and the Catalan flag could be shown freely. It was only in 1974 when the club changed its name back to its original Catalan name, Football Club Barcelona. A previous president of FC Barcelona, Joan Laporta, who was a self-proclaimed nationalist, required all foreign players to learn Catalan. From the club's inception, it had strong ties with the Catalan nationalist movement, with both supporters and management seeing the club as a symbol of local identity. On one day in 1951, supporters walked back into the city after a match on foot and in the rain, instead of taking the trams. This was in support of the local tram workers who were out on strike. FC Barcelona have not always been playing their home games at the Camp Nou stadium. As I said before, Camp de les Corts was the home stadium, and before that, Camp de la Industria was used. Camp de les Corts, or simply Les Corts, was inaugurated in 1922, and Camp Nou, which means New Field, was inaugurated in 1957. The first official match took place in the Camp Nou on the 6th of October of that year, against Real Jaén. The result was a sign of things to come, and Barcelona won convincingly 6-1. Originally intended to be named as the Estadi del FC Barcelona, the Camp Nou name became more popular and Barcelona adopted it as its official name on their home ground in the year 2000. With the capacity to seat 99,354 spectators, the Camp Nou is Europe's largest sporting arena. If you want to know where the word arena comes from, the etymology, check out my website and you will find lots of interesting sports facts, including that etymology of the word arena. FC Barcelona has the highest recorded home attendance of around 120,000 spectators for a match against Juventus. This was achieved when the Camp Nou allowed fans to stand and spectate. Now the stadium is all-seater with that capacity of 99,354. I do remember a story of them wanting to increase the capacity from 120,000 to 140,000, but they were refused planning permission. FC Barcelona supporters are nicknamed cules, coming from the word for bum, arses, or backside in Catalan. This less than glamorous nickname is said to hold its origins in the early days of the club, back when they used to play in the neighbourhood of Les Corts. According to legend, from outside the old Les Corts stadium, all that could be seen of the spectators in the stands was their backsides. Cules are not to be confused with socios, members of the club who pay that yearly fee and have a say in the management of the club. The fan clubs all around the world are referred to as peñas. Barcelona B play in the mini estadi on the same site as the Camp Nou. The mini estadi has a capacity of 15,000. Barcelona B must play at least one level below the main side, and therefore Barcelona B are ineligible for promotion to La Liga. They also are not eligible to play in the Copa del Rey. In 1992, the Camp Nou hosted the Olympic Games final, and La Roja, the Spanish under-23 national football team, defeated Poland 3-2. La Roja included players such as Pep Guardiola, Tony, Luis Enrique and Kiko. The club has had more than 40 different presidents. The club is owned by the club members of FC Barcelona. And in a similar way to a limited liability company, they elect the president by a ballot. The president has the responsibility for the overall management of the club. In Spain, it is customary for the president to watch the games in which the first team participates together with the president of the opposing team. Josep Nunes was a notable president of Barcelona between 1978 and 2002. In his presidency, he opened up the FC Barcelona Museum, the Mini Estadi, and La Masia, which I will tell you more about in a moment. He wasn't considered a popular president since he refused to pay high wages to players like Diego Maradona, Stoichkov, and Luis Figo, and because of this they left the club, with Luis Figo doing the unthinkable and signing for Real Madrid. Barca's local derby is against Espanyol. Their matches are dubbed El Derby Barcelona. Unlike FC Barcelona, Espanyol did not protest against Franco's dictatorship, and their protest against Barcelona as a foreign club was seen as a provocative representation of Madrid and Spanish governance. The first superstar to play for FC Barcelona was the Hungarian Laszlo Kubala. As one of the best players in Europe, he joined the ranks of FC Barcelona from the Italian team Pro Patria in June 1950. Kubala went on to become a club legend, and as a reward he was immortalised with a statue at the Camp Nou. Perhaps one of the most famous Barca players and managers of all time is the Dutchman Johan Cruyff. At the time of his signing in 1973, he was the world's most expensive player, joining the club from Ajax for a world record fee of $1.2 million. Johan Cruyff won the prestigious Balon d'Or 2 years in a row in 73 and 74. He left Barcelona to play in the US in 1978. However, Cruyff returned to Barca in 1988, this time as a manager, where he is credited with the creation of the world-famous Dream Team, which included Pep Guardiola, Jose Maria Bakero and Big Iristein. Perhaps more importantly, he is behind Barcelona's distinctive style of play, known as tiki-taka. This phrase is originally from the Basque region and means taking quick, light steps. Cruyff was very passionate about his team's playing with the total football philosophy. He was the manager for about 8 seasons, making him Barcelona's longest-serving manager. The most famous youth training facility in the world of association football is called La Masia. La Masia is FC Barcelona's facility or academy where young players learn to play, and it was Cruyff's brainchild. The training area was bought by the club in 1979 and included an old country house or farmhouse named La Masia that dated back to 1702. It was extensively renovated after the purchase. The facility is now home to over 300 young players and has been a significant factor in the club's successes. La Masia graduated Lionel Messi, Andres Iniesta, Carlos Puyol, Pep Guardiola and several others. One of the many glory moments for La Masia came in 2010 when 3 players that were trained at the facility were nominated as the 3 best footballers in the world in the FIFA Balon d'Or award. The honour was given to Lionel Messi, who won it, Andres Iniesta was second, and Xavi was third. I have made another film about the greatest of all time in men's football, the GOAT. If you'd like to check this film out, I will provide you with that link at the end of this film. The club has seen a total of 6 of its players awarded the Balon d'Or on 12 occasions, which is more than any other football club. Barcelona's first was courtesy of Luis Suarez, not the one that's playing now. This was back in 1960. It took another 13 years until Johan Cruyff won the second, and then he won it again the following year. Then Stoichkov in 1994, Rivaldo in 99, and Ronaldinho in 2005. Since then, Messi has doubled the club's total single-handedly by winning 6. In the pursuit of signing Diego Maradona in June 1982, not only did Barca pay a then world record fee of $6.5 million, but they also changed the entire training schedule so he could sleep in the mornings. With the promise of more money and not living up to the Barcelona way, Maradona moved to Napoli just 2 years later. With the arrival of Brazilian superstar Ronaldinho in the early 2000s, Barcelona experienced a huge surge in their global fan base. Barcelona are constantly scouting the best players in the world, and they were so impressed with Lionel Messi when they saw him play for Newell's Old Boys in Argentina that they knew they had to act fast and get him to put pen to paper. So much so that the first contract he signed with Barcelona was signed on a napkin. Also, when Messi tried unsuccessfully to activate his release clause in 2020, he sent this request in by fax. In August 2021, FC Barcelona president Joan Laporta announced that Lionel Messi would be leaving the club after 21 years. The reasons being purely financial. It appears a contract was negotiated that would have seen Messi stay at the Camp Nou for a further 5 seasons, but that would have been dependent on them reducing their wage bill in order to comply with financial fair play rules. FC Barcelona couldn't make this happen, and therefore their record goal scorer, who had netted 672 times, who had won 10 La Liga titles, 4 Champions League, 7 Copa del Reys, as well as the Balon d'Or, those record 6 occasions, was to leave. It was an end of an era. There were not many options open to Messi after Barcelona for obvious reasons. Would he be reunited with his old manager, Pep Guardiola, at oil-rich Manchester City, or would he partner up with his old colleagues at Paris Saint-Germain? What about a lucrative payday in the MLS? He opted for Paris Saint-Germain, and Barcelona finally said goodbye to, without doubt, their greatest and most influential player ever. The Pep Guardiola era between 2008 and 2012 were the glory years for FC Barcelona. Guardiola himself was a Barcelona player and then the coach of Barca's B team before becoming the first team manager. His most productive season was winning the sextuple in 2009. This included winning 6 trophies in a single calendar year, making Barca the first and only team to do so. They won La Liga, the Copa del Rey, the Supercopa de España, the Champions League, the European Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup. Pep Guardiola won a total of 14 trophies in just 4 years at the club. Despite the club's overwhelming popularity at home and abroad, games at the Camp Nou Stadium are notorious for having a less than lively atmosphere. While the games are shown in cafes and bars across the city, relatively few locals attend the matches. Some believe that this is in part due to the high cost of tickets, driven by the popularity of matches among tourists visiting Barcelona. Before COVID times, FC Barcelona wasn't just one of the most popular football clubs in the world, it was also one of the wealthiest. The club has been constantly ranked in the top 5 most valuable sports clubs in the world. With all of these riches, they intend to expand their stadium. Nou Camp Nou, as the renovated stadium will be called, will have a total seated capacity of 105,000 and further establish FC Barcelona as one of the biggest and most prestigious football clubs in the world. Barcelona currently have won a total of 130 titles over their history, including 26 La Ligas, 30 Copa del Reys and 5 Champions Leagues. Because of their success and star players, FC Barcelona have become the most popular second team of fans. True to their motto, Barcelona have been more than a club in more ways than one. Barcelona was one of the last clubs from the top 5 European leagues to don a sponsor's name on their jersey. They have a long-standing association with UNICEF, and through this partnership they have helped build 16,000 schools in many developing and underdeveloped countries around the world, where sport has been used as a medium to provide over 1.5 million children access to quality education and protect them from deadly diseases like HIV and AIDS. Besides their support of social causes, and of course football, Barcelona also provides teams in the following sports: beach soccer, basketball, wheelchair basketball, handball, roller hockey, ice hockey, rugby union, rugby league, futsal, and volleyball. With the COVID pandemic and significant loss of matchday revenues, the eye-watering contract reportedly and allegedly given to Lionel Messi that was worth up to €555 million over 4 seasons, coupled with the fact that they were trophyless in the 2020-2021 season, Barcelona has allegedly found itself in total debt of nearly $1.2 billion. They do have a lot of assets, but no way $1.2 billion. One of the potential ways of maximising revenue streams was to join the European Super League, a new proposed league of 12 of the biggest clubs or richest clubs in Europe. After much objection from fans, sponsors and domestic leagues, 9 of the original 12 withdrew from the process. But Barca, Real Madrid and Juventus, at the time of making this film, were still pursuing the possibility. However, with the club's intention to balance the books as quickly as possible by selling players and new contracts at a much more sustainable level, coupled with the massive support it has worldwide, including over 259 million followers across various social media platforms, and the imminent return of about 100,000 spectators per home match, and even with the departure of Messi, the club will soon realise that life still goes on. No player is bigger than the club. There might be a transition period where the club adapts to the loss, but I'm sure the future of FC Barcelona has plenty more success written into it. Thanks for watching this film. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have done researching it and making it. I would really appreciate any help you can give me and the channel by sharing this film, giving it a thumbs up and even consider subscribing. It really does help me with YouTube and its algorithm. If you love sport and want more than 2,000 of the best sports facts and jokes, then check out my 5-star rated book, Interested in Sport.